All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for joining us today for this month's Dr. Sound Academy as we kick off this summer. I think we're just about to get rolling with this one. So without further ado, I will let Vitaliy take over and we'll walk us through our updated SIP overview webinar as well as some of our new SIP products.
Yeah, thank you, Chris. Again, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining this webinar. Let's begin. So overview, what we'll discuss today is what and why SIP, what is that and why we need to use it. The difference between SIP and VoIP. There's some difference and sometimes people use it interchangeably in between. SIP setup, standard setup of our endpoints with the SIP server or peer-to-peer. And TUA SIP solutions, what kind of devices that we have and how to use it with the SIP. So before explaining what SIP is, we need to know basic knowledge about the IP, Internet Protocol addressing, and how Internet works. So here we just briefly touch this topic. So in the beginning of Internet, the IP protocol version 4 was designed, and the maximum IP addresses was allowed around 4 billion. And pretty in the beginning of that time, engineers realized that 4 billion addresses will be not enough. So they are decided to divide it into two big groups of IP addresses, private and public. So public addresses that are visible on the internet, and private is used in the local area networks. And these local area networks can be divided in three classes: Class A, Class B, and Class C. Class A is a large one, Class B is medium one, and Class C is small one. And if you notice, Class C, small one, is 192.168.0.0 and going up to 255.255. It's using in the small networks. Maybe you saw that in home routers. And medium projects, they use 172.16 subnet and larger one 10.0 subnets. I briefly mentioned some netting. So even in the local networks, we can divide it to few subnets that work for different purposes. So in this case, subnet mask is used. Ports and sockets, what the difference is. So as if you think as IP address as apartment building address, so it is your PC or server. The port is that it's a number. It's a port that communicate with your software that require this information. Yeah. And sockets, it's a combinations of IP address and ports. So router and computer knows to whom that this packet is addressable. So IP address and IP and ports, it's called sockets. So what the domain name is instead of IP addresses, we can use the names. It's a more preferable way to for humans to interact with the internet. So domain name will facilitate by domain name servers, DNS. So instead of typing some numbers to 16 to 58 to 16 to 38, you just type google.com. So this is basic knowledge about the IP. So what is a SIP? SIP is acronym to Session Initiation Protocol. Is a protocol is widely used in VoIP or voice over IP communications. This device introduced this communication protocol called SIP. So originally SIP was meant to be used in a VoIP protocol, but in many cases you use it in security management systems. As for the profile of SIP, it is introduced on various websites, so please refer to it. And but here are the two important things to mention. One thing is a SIP network is one of the most used infrastructure in the world. Another is that devices capable of SIP communication can be easily connected with the equivalent hardware and software of other companies and can operate as a part of the system. So which means the SIP is a standard that support many manufacturers. So if you know that it's SIP supported by the device, it's going to communicate with the other SIP device. So SIP is a protocol designed to accomplish the task of switchboard operator. So once you dial the number of your phone, in older days, switch operator will receive your signal and switch to the destination that you want to talk. So this is now will be this automatically be done by SIP protocol. And SIP used to set up, modify, and intermediate connection and transmission between the two or more endpoints. So it's desk phones, app devices, the soft phones. Soft phones means the software running on the device, so we call soft phones. So SIP allows to set up for communication and transfer on the different types of media, audio, video, and file transfer. And just don't be confused because the session initiation protocol is not working the session layer of the OC model, but working as application. So it seems it's similar to HTTP and SNMP protocols. So it's a text-based protocols and running on the application level, or not in the session level. So the SIP adopts a universal resource identifier, short URI, structure of other popular layer 7 protocol like HTTP. It's very similar to SMTP protocol. So example is my account at tuasip.com, and the commands looks like text. Like in this example, we see invite my account at tuasip.com. So you will see later. We will discuss how the commands looks like and how it's communicated with SIP server. Also important thing about the SIP is using both client server and peer-to-peer structure. So it can communicate with the server, and server will facilitate communication to the other devices. And peer-to-peer means your SIP device talk directly to another SIP device without SIP server. So also why we moving to SIP? The AV industry is right now moving more to IP protocols. Maybe you heard about the audio video over IP, and it's more robust and versatile system that support not only audio video and also control in some scenarios to transmit. And again, as I mentioned before, the SIP is fulfill the role of the operator/switchboard in the AP domain. So let's discuss the SIP components. So user agents is end user devices like your SIP phones, your application on your phone, and other devices that support SIP. And SIP servers, it's computers that in the networks that receive requests and responding to their requests of the user agents. So user agents have the two phases in their functionality. Recall that SIP switches, client server, and peer-to-peer network architecture. So it means that user agents can be called as a user agent client or user agent server. In a peer-to-peer model, when user agent client is receiving requests from the other user agent server and vice versa. We'll see this in the next slide. So during the call, proper where the user agent directly communicate with each other, SIP switches to peer-to-peer mode where user agents alternate as a client or server. So it is alternating between the event is requesting or responding to the request. It will alternate between UAC and UAS, user agent client and user agent server. So it's a peer-to-peer mode. SIP servers are used in resolve with SIP users to IP addresses, so the communication can be facilitated between user agents like central office and SIP phones. There's also another function of the SIP servers is to enforce security, and usually SIP servers is set up by IT department. So it's again it's how the integrator structures works. So you might need to do this work or ask IT department to set up the SIP servers when you installing SIP endpoints. And you also need to coordinate with them for with the what type of IP addresses, the IP schedule, etc. To carry this general task, SIP servers have three sub functionalities. So these sub functionalities we can discuss in the next slide. So first functionality of the SIP server is a registrar server. So it maintains all users and respective IP addresses of user agents tied to individual users. Also obtains the IP address of the device and the user is logged and registered and it under their name on a database which can be referenced later when call made to the user. So again, you will need to create the account for each device and you need to be registered on a SIP server. So SIP server knows what the extension number or the domain name and to know what the database of users they need to be facilitated. The second function of the SIP server is work as a proxy server. So it can work when usually it's in cloud-based. So when user agents is not in the same local network, the proxy server used to connect these two users via internet, and this proxy server will communicate to each other points, and after that establish the connection in between. So also proxy servers will restrict the SIP access from unauthorized and unwanted callers. So it's also provides security. And the third function of the SIP server is work as a redirect server. By the way, these three functions, the redirect, proxy, and registrar, can be work in three separate physical servers, or we can work in one. So it's depend on the architecture of the software or the server software. But again, it can be working independently or in one server. So again, redirect server is used to forward requests on behalf of user agents to other computers directly. So basically, it's just a call forwarding, and unlike the proxy service, it's the redirect service tells you to contact them yourself. So providing contact user with IP address and of the target. So it means that endpoints will receive the information about other endpoints from the redirect server, which is not exactly secure. So proxy server more secure, and also the redirect server facilitates SIP forking by splitting the call to the user agents associated with a single user. So it can be called to agents or more. So let's discuss what the difference between the SIP and VoIP. So SIP and VoIP often confuse with each other. So what the difference? In this slide, the analogy is a car and transmission in the car. So VoIP or voice over IP is a broad term used in a reference to any telephony that uses an IP network instead of traditional analog telephone system. And SIP, this protocol may be used, maybe not, but usually is widely used by VoIP system to fulfill required operator functionality that we discussed previously, switchboard. So SIP in a VoIP is facilitates switching between the endpoints. And more often that not modern VoIP systems utilize SIP because all the features, support, and popularity of this protocol. So in a car and transmission example, car is a VoIP, so it's a general term for voice over IP telephony, and transmission is a SIP. Transmission will move forward the VoIP, move forward the car. So it's a kind of like the heart of the VoIP system. But in generally, we call this VoIP system. So that we discussed the required knowledge previously, IP addressing, subnetting, and port sockets. Also, the helpful knowledge for troubleshooting is when you use the cloud-based system is what type of NAT traversal is using. And again, you should talk more with the IT department how this natural is working with just IP network, and it can be configured in a TOA endpoints. So again, it depends on what type of protocol is using, stun or keep alive, or another protocol is a turn. So again, this going beyond our discussion today, but need to be communicated with the IT professionals. So requirements for SIP setup. So when using SIP server, you need to create provision SIP user accounts in a server. So again, it's mostly done by IT departments, but you might need to do this job. You need to obtain the credentials like username and passwords. So usually it will look like a domain name and password that need to be entered in each endpoints. But what we usually use in the small local only SIP systems, instead of using domain name, because of course you need to use domain name servers, DNS, you usually use just extension numbers. So in this example, extension number will be 202 instead of my account, and instead of domain name will be SIP IP address. So in this example, 192.168.150. So usually on a cloud-based account will be, again, my account at toac.com, for example. But in a local based, it will be 202 at and IP address of your local SIP server. This is what usually I see in our projects that we're mostly using local IP addresses and local SIP servers for small or small and medium projects. Also, you need to determine and obtain information about the transmission protocols used. It can be TCP, UDP, and secure protocols TLS, and specify ports. Again, this information can be obtained from your IT infrastructure engineers. To briefly explain what the difference between TCP and UDP. So TCP is a protocol with the error correction and two-way communication to check if all packets received by each device. It's more network intensive and using more bandwidth of your network. And in case if you have a lot of endpoints, usually you can switch to UDP that working as a multicast or one-to-one connection, but the difference is UDP not checking the for errors. So it's transmitting packets one way and it's not checking back if other end receiver is correctly. So it's more network efficient and usually using the video communication and streaming. If SIP is being used for setting up system, it will video and audio file transfers. It's helpful to note that respective protocols and port numbers being used. So for future troubleshooting, that's what I mentioned. That if it's video and audio file transfer, that proper protocol need to be selected. And this equipment registration example, we see our master station and N-SP80MS2 example. So in the menu, in the web interface, you will navigate on account and basic, and you see the SIP account settings. So in this case, we're using just a local SIP server and extension numbers 202, and you can see this status registered. So it means it's registration successful with the SIP server. Below is the SIP server one, the IP address, and registration period 1,100 seconds. So it's period that every time SIP server check if device still in online. In the master station can have two servers, like for backup or other reasons. And the master station can be configured outbound proxy server that again, if it's using the cloud-based scenarios. And transport type, in this case, we're using UDP, and you can select to TCP. And NAT traversal is using when is using with the cloud-based SIP server. So different protocols can be used to bypassing the NAT. Audio video codecs. So codecs is short to coder decoders. It's using in SIP devices to decode analog signal that as your voice and the video. In telephone applications require transmissions of data of lightweight and other network resources. So the codecs will like code the data in more smaller format and more efficient. And so usually in the audio codecs in telephony, you use G711 and G722. G711 is more older codecs. He has a more narrow frequency band and more efficient. But G722 now more popular and has a more higher, wider frequency band that provide more better intelligibility and sound reproduction. For the videos, mostly for now is there's a few codecs that are more older, like H.263, and more newer H.264 and 265. They're more efficient and more higher quality. So why is it important to select that? So each endpoints need to support this codecs, audio and video in order to be compatible. If for some reason is a codecs enabled in one endpoint is different in another endpoints, the communication will not be done. So you're able to call, but audio or video or both will be not possible because the codecs are not matched. So need to be very careful in what codecs is enabled, and other endpoints need to support this codecs. And for troubleshootings, activity logs is your friend. So once you register all your endpoints and start testing, and it seems if you have any troubles like with receiving calls or audio problems, the logs in the SIP server is very helpful. In this case, we showing the 3CX, but other SIP server has some own logs, and you will see what happened every second or every fraction of a second during the establishing connection, during the calls, and when it's ended. So it's very helpful for troubleshooting. So this activity logs on the left is represent what is on the right is going on. So in this case, we have two endpoints, Cisco 888186, connect via IP network to SIP server. And once you want to establish connection, one of the endpoints send invite request to the SIP server. SIP server reply to trying and request the authentication. If it's acknowledged, it will invite another point. Another point will reply back with trying and ringing, and SIP server send a ringing request to other points, and if they reply okay, the connection is established. So all this you see on the right, this one by one request, it's reflected on the SIP server logs. So every time if you see some error or not established connection, you will see that in the logs, and it's a good tool to troubleshoot the system. Now let's talk about the TOA SIP solutions, what TOA can provide in the SIP categories. So TOA provide wide variety SIP-enabled products that work as for paging, announcement, voice evacuations, mass notifications, access control, BGM, and tailoring user experience. So let's discuss the N8000 and SIP gateway. So somebody know, but I'll explain briefly about the N8000. It's our intercom and paging system that are based on the IP. Originally, it's not designed to support with the SIP, but by using SIP gateway, it's enabled to communicate with the other SIP devices in the IP network. So let's see how the structure is work. So on the left side, you will see the N8000 system with all the exchanges. Exchanges connect to your substations or intercoms or the master stations or phones, and it can be communicate with the via IP network. On the right side, you will see N8000 SG. It's a SIP gateway. It's a software running on any PC, and it will translate IP packet audio from N8000 to SIP. So and in case you want to expand your current N8000 system, for example, you can use this software to communicate with your SIP VoIP telephony. So you can do paging, you can call any N8000 master station and vice versa. So you can call from master station in an N8000 system to SIP VoIP phones. Now let's talk about the IP A1 audio endpoints. They're all also based on SIP. It consists with a variety commercial grade IP endpoints and can be used in just independent audio system and used as an intercom, and can be configured in operating in conjunction with the external system platforms such as security video monitoring or VMS system, access control, and digital signage and fire alarm systems. So IP audio endpoints consist with the transmitters. The transmitters is IP1PG. It's a IP paging gateway. It's a main entry point to IP1. It supports SIP protocol, so you're able to call IP1PG and do mass paging using multicast. Also support on-VIF protocols that are widely supported by video management system, the in-video surveillance, and can have other feature like scheduling, has onboard pre-record messages, so it's widely versatile unit. IP microphone, IP1RM, it's basically IP1PG with the microphone, buttons and screens. So can do almost the same as a PG. It's also has a pre-record messages, or you can pre-record your voice and replay in however you want. Below is IP microphone. It's called IP1NT. It's usually work in conjunction with the IP speakers that we'll discuss later. And it's just a microphone with a button. So your IP speaker can work not only for mass notification, but also as an intercom device. By pressing the button, you can call SIP master station and have two-way conversation. Here are these IP audio receivers. It's mostly IP speakers. It has the module that received IP packets from the network and powered by PoE, and has a built-in amplifier that connected to the speaker. So by using P1PG from previous slide, you can call any speaker or multiple speakers that configured in a paging zone. And in this case, using multicast channels or multicast IP addresses. So brief explanation what the multicast IP addresses. So it's kind of hidden IP addresses that are specifically using for multicasting. each network switch has a pre-programmed this multicast IP addresses and how it works. So instead of calling each individual IP speaker and that using unicast, it will overload your network very quickly if you have hundreds of speakers. You're calling only paging gateway, IP1PG. By selecting the paging zone, it will translate your audio to multicast broadcast that can be listened by IP speakers, and it's a one-way broadcasting, so from one to many. It's a definition of multicast, and it's more if network efficient, and you can have thousands of speakers work at the same time. So you can talk to multiple speakers, and it will not overload your network. A part of the IP speakers, we have IP1AF audio interface. You can think of as a audio interface without the speaker itself. It has a built-in amplifier, but it can be connected to any amplifier, third party, or our TOA amplifier. And this can be helpful when you do want to use IP speakers everywhere, but you want to do still this paging via SIP. So you can connect this device to any amplifier and do paging to the just analog speakers. And of course, you can use IP1PA12. It's a 70-volt power amplifier and 12 watts. So instead of just using third-party amplifier, you can connect multiple speakers to this IP power amplifier and do the same paging as other units. So this is how usually system looks like on the right. So you have transmitters, like microphone, IP1RM, or just regular SIP phone, or N-SP80MS2, all connected to the network. In the middle, you have a SIP server that facilitates connection, and on the right, you will have IP1AF connected to an amplifier and local analog speakers, or you can have IP1PA12, they connect directly to the speakers, or you can have multi-zone paging using IP1PG paging gateway, and you can page multiple speakers in one zone. Like the PG is support up to 20 multicast IP addresses, which means 20 PA zones, and there's no limit on how many speakers can be in one zone. So it can be hundreds or thousands. And again, all devices support on-with, which means that you can have a camera and IP speakers on side by side, and be able to not only see but also communicate in one way or two-way if you need with the persons who on the camera. So it's very useful feature. Each IP speaker has also pre-record messages, so you can trigger. And as I mentioned before, IP1PG has a scheduling, so you can schedule, for example, bells in the school, so you can transmit audio to each IP speaker or audio interfaces that connect to the amplifier and speaker. Oh, this is another example how IP1 series can work. So on the top, it's a direct SIP paging, so you just call one speaker, or by using AF, IP1AF, you call IP1AF and it's going to an amplifier. You can have multiple speakers, but again, it's only one zone. A similar scenario with IP1PA12. You can call to IP1PA12 and you can have one zone paging. And below is a P1PG, it's using for multicast paging, so you can have multiple zones. That other SIP compatible device is SP11 and SIP module. SP11 module can work as a standalone unit in a SP11 enclosure or as a part of an 8000 M2 system VG series amplifier, 800 series, and 700 series amplifiers. So let's discuss more. So what the features is of course it's a VoIP SIP zone paging module. It supported the 700, 900 VG series and 8002 series module amplifiers. Uses the power amplifier of supported products, so that I mentioned earlier. It supports 5 PA zones using relay switching. So it has 5 open collector outputs that can be connected to TOA SS9001 or QSS9012. It has adjustable voice sensitivity for Vox, and also has mix on off and mute 1 and 2 switches. It's on the circuit board itself. It's using when you have for example 900 series mixer with other modules like using for background music, and this mute 1 and 2 switches using for send or receive mute signal, which means that when you do your paging via SIP, it will mute your, for example, background music. So this is when we use. Also has a feature called Sonic IP, which speaks IP address. It's useful when for technician when do installation that, for example, you forgot the SIP what the IP address of the device, it can be speak on a loudspeaker. And it's a browser setup and configuration. So you just log in via IP address on the web browser and set up all the features on this module. This is we briefly discuss what the connection is. So to the right there is a RJ45 connector, standard yellow and green lights that indicates the connection, the data indication that packets transmitted and received. On the left, there is a 2 LEDs. Green LED will show the status when its connection is established, and red is flashing that showing that it's some error or it's still in the initialization phase. Box mute sensitivity gate is adjusted by this sense, so using the screw for adjusting the level. It's powered by 12-volt DC power supply, and on 5 contact outputs using open collector that connect to your, for example, you have 5 amplifiers with the control input to make a page. So up to 5 zones can be configured. And that we discussed mute 1 and 2 send receive functions on a circuit board. This is how a SP11M module looks like in a standalone box. So you can use the, of course, in the VG series, 9002 series. But if you need a standalone device, you can buy an external enclosure and connect the plug in the module and have an audio output that be connected to any amplifier. So now we'll discuss the updated N-SP80 series. The SP80 series is using again SIP protocol, which gives system wide capability and flexibility. It's a high quality audio support. So we discussed before different codecs. So it supports G72, so one of the highest codecs. Even the new model also support Opus, so more high quality. And what they have in this N-SP80 series, the new is an N-SP80MS2 SIP Intercom master station. It's basically a refresh of the previous N-SP80MS1. It has newer software, newer operating system. It has a more modern look, and updated keyboard with the USB-C port for transferring data and connecting to the PC. Has a built-in camera with the privacy shutter. Has hands-free option with the Bluetooth, so you can have a wireless-free conversation. It can be powered with a PoE and 12-volt DC power supply. Yeah, and our current model of an N-SP80 AS1 VS1 audio door station and video door stations. So again, it's compatible with the major audio codecs. It can work with the cloud-based systems. There's a built-in AAC for acoustic echo canceller, full duplex, PoE powered, and also can powered by 12-volt DC. And resolution is 1080p, so as a previously as a current model. So this is one of the solution examples, like it's showing every series that we have here. So in the center, it's a network, and to the IP network can be connected all the N-SP80 series that can work in the SIP server. Also IP1, all the IP speakers and endpoints, SP11N module working as a standalone or the part of the mixer amplifier, and of course N8000 LSG. So this SIP gateway will work as a bridge between the SIP and N8000. So as you can see, we have a wide variety of products that support SIP, and all of them can communicate to each other. So all these products are different, but again, they're using SIP standard protocol, so it can easily communicate. Another example that we previously touched, again, N8000 IP intercom system on the left. In the middle is N8000 SG software, can run on any mini PC. And on the right, it's your SIP phones that can be already on place in your network, and you want to use your SIP telephony to do paging and two-way communication in N8000. Oh yeah, I think that's it. If you have any questions, please let me know right now, or you can send email later or call us, so we are happy to help you with your projects.
Thank you, Vitaliy. We're going to take a couple minutes, you guys to write down any questions you may have, kind of throw it into the chat or to the Q&A, and then we'll get over onto the giveaway for this one, as we do with most of these webinars. So I'll say, give it a minute or two, see if we get any questions in the chat. Otherwise, we will move on.
Dr. Sound.